Ladies and gentlemen, on lead guitar, he is also our musical director, the incredible Aaron McLean. How about a round of applause for this amazing band, everybody? Put your hands together. Are you enjoying the show, everybody? We are too. So we finally made it to Maricopa after 48 years. That means we'll be back in 2071. Get your tickets tonight. Now, it's really nice to be here. There are very few places in the world we haven't played. In our career, we've played over 5,400 shows. But tonight will be the best of them all. I do have a question. How many people have never seen us live before? Where have you been for 48 years? Well, that's okay though. Better late than never. You're late bloomers. Now, we like new people. But for the benefit of most of you, please don't be alarmed that everyone's left the stage. It's quite normal. Nothing's gone wrong. Russell takes a little break for 3 or 4 minutes, and he'll be back. He has a little break, has a cup of tea, simply because he sings all the very high parts. He really does. And the parts I sing don't tell anybody, but they're really low and easy to sing. But I try to make them look difficult. Russell will be back in about 3 minutes, and then he's going to sing even higher for you. Meanwhile, I get to do whatever I want. And we call this little section G-Spot. Because my first name begins with G. So welcome to G. I hope you will enjoy it. But I do something very unusual for a rock and roll band. It always goes dead quiet with us. People are thinking, what's he going to do? What is he going to do? I'm going to recite you some beautiful words. Thank you, Amanda. I'm going to recite you some beautiful words. I've loved words since I was able to read, and I read by age 4. I was reading full books. You know, kids' books, but full books. I was an early reader. I love words. I didn't invent any words. I just like to put them in a certain order. I'm going to read you something that's very simple and very short. And I'm going to read you something from my 4th book of verse, which comes out in spring next year. And I made a vow every night we play to read a different poem. And I'm going to read one now. And the reason I don't know, the reason I don't know it off by heart yet is because I haven't learned them all. But I will know them all next year. This is very short, and it's a little bit about fall. But here in Arizona, you don't really get fall, do you? The leaves don't fall off the trees. You don't have any deciduous trees. It's all cactuses. I love cactus. Or should I say, cacti. I have some growing in my greenhouse. But not the big ones, they're beautiful. But I do love them, they're beautiful. And I like to see the birds nesting in them too. Because I love birds. This poem is very short and very simple. And I do hope its meaning finds a place in your heart and stays there for an eternity. Or at least until the end of the show. This is called Feeling, Falling, Fall. He falls from a twisted bough as the old farmer rests on his trusted plough. A moment to savor as seasons must cross. Time to gather good thoughts and a little green moss. The fruit and the vine like all lovers are one, forever entwined, the moon and the sun. Each brings to the other a simple desire to meet in between, where all water meets fire. Feeling is falling as summer to fall, welcoming shadows that so faintly call, a sound as familiar as any you know. Hold each other tightly and never let go. Thank you. This is Chad, everybody. Chad's got a new moustache. I really like it. It's real. I like it. It reminds me of an English school professor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to someone you already know. This gentleman and I have been friends for almost 50 years. In our friendship, and people find that hard. We met in a choir rehearsal in Australia. A seat next to me, and this gentleman, I've never sat next to anyone with a big afro like that before, so I was quite alarmed. But we all sang together, and it was probably the most beautiful sound I've ever heard at that moment. But there was a voice next to me that cut through everything. And I'd never heard anything like it. It was so pure in tone, and the pitch was perfect. And a light went off in my brain that said, you need to meet this guy. You need to introduce yourself. So at the end of the rehearsal, everybody was, mingling, getting to know everyone. And I introduced myself. And he said to me, we have the same name. And I said, yes, we do. That may not be so unusual, but then we realized we were born 3 days apart in the same month. When we were 14 years old, I in England and he in Australia, we attended an event that changed his life and it changed my life too. And that was seeing the Beatles live for the very first time. The Beatles were the first band I ever saw, and that changed my life forever. And meeting this gentleman and beginning to work with him changed it again. That was a long time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Russell Hitchcock.
That's like a beautiful poem, ladies and gentlemen. This guy's got class. I met Graham on May the 12th, 1975, in Australia, during the production of the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. We still think it's the best rock opera ever written. And we were rehearsing in Sydney, and after a couple of weeks, we took a break one day and I could hear this guitar being played. And I didn't know where it was coming from, and it sounded different to me. So I went through the corridors, turned a corner, and I saw Graham sitting on the floor with his guitar in his lap, but his guitar was upside down. And not because I was in Australia. I asked him what he was doing, and he said he was working on a composition of his own, and I never met anyone that had written original music. So I asked him to play the chorus of the song a few times, and quite spontaneously there, we started to sing together and harmonise the melody. And blew my mind, certainly. The next day, at Graham's insistence, we started to rehearse together. We ended up playing in coffee bars and pizza parlours, anywhere we could to get better. So by the time the production had finished in October 1976, we had the #1 single in Australia as Air Supply. For those of you who don't know what a single is, it's a small piece of round plastic. Typically, if you have the #1 single, you have the #1 album. If you don't know what an album is, it's a bigger piece of round plastic album. On the basis of those successes, we were asked to open for Rod Stewart in Australia for a couple of shows. Yes. And after the second one, he came to our dressing room and asked us if we would like to open for him all across North America and Canada, 1977. So of course we jumped at the chance, landed in America on the 4th of July 1977, started the tour in September, and we played everywhere that you could imagine if you were new. We'd only been together as a band for 3 months. Played the Madison Square Garden, the Forum, the Metrodome, the Superdome, the Enormodome, 3 Rivers Stadium. We played everywhere. And when you're on the road with somebody of that caliber, you start to think that you're